Так, в общем, прошлый стрим завершился у нас просто каким-то сбоем. Вот, поэтому в очередной раз приветствую всех на прохождении игры The Council. Сейчас вроде все идет без помех. Поэтому, продолжаем так доделаться.
Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
What the hell's going on?
You are in deep trouble, my young friend.
Я что-то почему-то так и думал, что будет. Ни одной неудачи? Ну, мы вообще просто круты с вами. Так, ну и что мы тут будем делать? Уклонение хорошее, логика тоже хорошая. Политика тоже вроде ничего. Давайте уклонение бахнем. Ну и 2 очка, наверное. На эрудицию давайте. Не. Вот сюда. Да. Расходы на 3 очка меньше. Ну, я думаю, что это нормально. Мы, конечно, эти постепенно прокачаем. Мы же сейчас будем вот это вот изучать. А что она нам даст? Наука, эрудиция и языкознание. Наука, эрудиция, вот она. Языкознание, вот она. Да, нормально, пойдет. А, все, мы прошли. Да, а как бы, а изучение?
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
А, вот они, книжки, отлично. Доступные манускрипты 3. Это просто огонь. Так. Да, знать бы что. А, можно посмотреть же по навыкам. Логика нам нужна. Языкознание, политика. Логика, языкознание, политика. Угу. Политика и логика. Отлично. Наука у нас прокачана. Остальное у нас, в принципе, прокачано все. У нас следующий качать, чтобы не расходовать очки действия. Дело такое. Тут и очков действия-то полно. Тут, наоборот, надо вот эти вот будет прокачивать, чтобы уменьшать количество очков. Ну, все вроде. Круто, что можно было 33 манускрипта выучить.
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. But an act of horrific violence occurred during the night.
Так, подождите. Он у нас уже был открыт. Да. Устойчивость к убеждениям у него.
I do not know if this is linked to the disappearance of Sarah.
What are you getting at? What act of violence?
We found Elizabeth Adams' body in her room. She was brutally murdered, stabbed several times.
Нифига
I'll get
себе.
straight to the point, Louis. According to the initial elements at my disposal, you were the last person to see her alive.
Yes, last night we, Do you suspect me?
I want you to tell me everything that happened last night and leave nothing out. Tell me, how did the evening begin?
Так. Уклонение. Ну да, зачем мне говорить, что я был с герцогиней?
I was going up to my room when I saw Elizabeth waiting for me. She was very upset, and her words didn't make sense. I thought it best to follow her to her room, as
Зашибись, блядь.
she had asked me to.
Короче, ему надо всю правду говорить.
Continue.
She insisted we have a drink, without which she refused to confide anything.
What exactly did she want to speak about?
О том, что она
She
видела мою
claimed
мать.
she saw my mother the previous evening on the cliff, if I remember correctly.
Interesting. I will send someone as soon as possible. But do go on.
I refused to go on drinking with her. She already seemed drunk and her conversation became confused. So, then she ordered me to get out. If only I'd stayed.
Don't blame yourself, Louis. How could you have known? But thank you for this new information.
Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation. I cannot risk upsetting the smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed.
I understand. What do you intend to do?
I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask for your help.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I refuse to believe that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know who is responsible for this. And I trust you.
Вот как все
You have
повернулось.
my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by going to the scene of the crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Спросите
Do you have any
подозреваемых.
suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi, so I think you can remove them from the list of suspects. Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Начать последование.
I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, Come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Вау. Круто. О. Кардинал. Чё, ты разговариваешь, что ли? Алло. Алло. Опс. Левиафан. Политика +1. Кстати, я забыл проверить-то у нас тут. О, у нас вообще все шикардос. Мы в следующем уровне сможем, можно 2 сразу изучить. Политику и логику, наверное. Да, мы изрядно подизрасходовали свой инвентарь.
A nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781.
Красивые картины, конечно, у них. Опс, опс. Чё это?
Which 4-letter word could open this chest?
ПМНТ. Оу. Так. Ну. А первой Т нету? Нет. А, может вот так. И чё?
Which 4-letter
Нет.
word could open this chest?
Тогда А должно быть. И тут либо Е, либо А. Пена? Нет. Зена? Нет. ЗК. Блин, ну прям тут день вот вырисовывается. Почему он не открывает? Ша. Щапа. ЗАГС, что ли? Нет. Может, пакт? Блин, я уже столько букв ой, слов насобирал. Так, надо, короче, поискать сейчас будет. Нихера себе. Вы получили с оккультным символом вода.
Why does
Опять.
your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub?
Опять
The worm
Данте.
before it's attained its final form. Charming.
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say.
Мне
Not to
вообще
worry, Your Eminence.
первое,
If he is
что
innocent, then he has nothing to
подозрение
fear. Do
кидается,
you know
это этот
why
здоровый
Monsieur Bonaparte
француз.
was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
Да я уже понял, что то же самое.
But
Что-нибудь
if I
еще?
were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru.
Да,
You
месье Перю.
remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Так, ну и чё? О, красиво. Будет подсказка какая-нибудь? Ни хера нет никакой подсказки. А, шкатулку-то я хочу открыть.
Which four-letter word could open this chest?
Ты-ты-ты. Первые все буквы нафиг. Вент. А-а-а! Так. Я въехал. Блин, реально. Осколок инвентаря лишним не будет, как говорится, никогда. О, еще и записки. Отлично просто. Вот эти штуки вообще самые топовые. Что-нибудь еще, может, нет? Нет. Так. А, вот это что было. И я же не все эти-то собрал. Бочонки с медом-то здесь, насколько я помню. Музыка такая зачетная здесь играет. У меня же доступ абсолютно везде есть. Нету доступа, меня обманули. Так, надо это. Звук музыки надо подубавить слегка. Плюс я ловкость прокачал. Угу. Так, сюда я могу зайти. Но мне надо поговорить, наверное, с этим типом.
Good day, Monsieur de Richet.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
No, Nothing special.
Has anyone told you that Elizabeth was killed last night?
Yes. Rumors spread quickly.
Huh. He looks very put out.
It's horrible. How did it happen?
I can say nothing to you, sir. You'd better follow your host's instructions and stay in your quarters.
I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
Оскорблять же нельзя такого человека-то, ёпта. Так, ну здесь, естественно, все осмотрено. Пойдемте сразу в комнату. Чё, как говорится, время тянуть? Не, ну это явно было, скорее всего, ритуальное убийство. А, нет, я думал, ее там на круге зарубили. Нифига себе, брызги докуда долетели. О!
All right. I've retrieved everything.
Так, а ты чё?
Finished with this room?
No,
Нет.
I haven't gone over everything yet.
Sir may take his time. When Sir would like to leave, Sir has only to tell me.
Нахрена я тебя должен
My
предупреждать?
dear Elizabeth, I'm writing to...
Так, это я читал. Опа. Часы так тут помял знатно.
Clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime.
Так, надо запомнить. 3:54. Так, монета.
The talisman that I gave back to Elizabeth. I can't exactly say it brought her good luck.
А взять-то можно?
The talisman that I gave back to Elizabeth. I can't exactly say it brought her good luck.
Очень жаль, что нельзя.
Pentagram. What the hell's been going on here?
Логика
Contrary to
недоступна.
what most people believe, a pentagram's not there to conjure up, I don't know what evil or demonic creature. With the point toward the top, the pentagram is an ancient symbol of protection.
А зачем мне сейчас... скажите мне... Слабости Элизабет, если она отъехала. Что за большое сердце? Угу. Психология +1. А где у меня психология-то? А, так нифига, там осталось-то до следующего уровня. Фигня вообще. Так.
Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual?
Я думаю, если бы ее принесли в жертву, ее бы и убивали в этом кругу. Нет? Так, пистолет
A
валяется.
notebook, written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out.
Эрудицией придется воспользоваться. Да?
Medieval Latin. Well, enough to translate a bit. He's coming. The demon is upon me. He's coming back to kill me. There she is. Death has come to finish me off. I've just run into her son. That was her last entry. What tortured writing.
Короче, мамашу убила.
A notebook, written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out.
Так, перевести нельзя, да?
August 24th.
Так, нет, это я уже читал. Да, тоже читал. Ствол лежит.
A pistol? Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light.
There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. A tribute engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France. It's extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded and well, there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently.
Короче, мне это вообще ничего не дало. Так, туда нельзя, да? Опа! Что это?
Piece of fabric. High quality at that. I'd say it's silk. Going by the texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear.
Эх, вот логики не хватило мне.
It's a travel dress. The silk has been lightly waxed to protect it from bad weather. And I know the very woman who came up with the idea, given all the traveling she does. My mother. God help us. Why did she come here in the first place? The material appears to have undergone abnormal wear and tear. She must have been scouring the countryside, and that doesn't look good.
Капец. Не могут найти тетку на острове.
Vials of laudanum.
Окей.
Large quantities could knock out a bull. Could Elizabeth have been drugged? If the body wounds are anything to go by, then clearly not. She put up a fierce fight. The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved.
Не, Вашингтон не может. Это прям однозначно. О, логика, сложность 2 нужна.
Well sharpened, apparently. It's covered in blood. Still fresh. The lower part of the handle is unsullied by blood. The murderer gripped the weapon so tight that there's no blood where he held it. The handprint indicates a small and slender hand.
Маленькая и худая рука, значит, отпадает этот здоровый тип. Ну, это мать егошняя, я так полагаю, что...
Poor girl bled to death. Whoever left that footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru? Washington, maybe.
Вот это прикол уже, конечно.
Knocked over bottle of wine. I know that smell. It's laudanum. It must have been mixed with the wine directly in the bottle.
Так. Еще и опоили девку. Так, поехали все по очереди.
Blood, but no trace of blows on the legs.
Ух ты, проверить на изнасилование.
Let's see. No trace of sexual assault or rape.
Угу.
More tattoos, similar to those on the rest of her body.
Вот, опять логики нет. Тут вот сейчас это, да, все по логике надо было.
I see no sign of bruising on the skull. The only clue is a scar from a previous craniectomy. Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old
Трепанацию
scars around the
делали.
neck,
Жесть.
maybe mutilations. She bled from the nose. There's signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising. There's signs of bleeding, but I don't see any traces of bruising.
На, то есть без разницы.
What a strange smell. Her breath smells of alcohol and of laudanum. People use it to relieve pain.
Да она сама добавляла себе опий этот.
There are numerous marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars.
Значит, надо еще допросить того, кто рядом с ней. Изучить шрамы.
Superficial and were made several years ago. She wasn't trying to take her own life. People who scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of psychological suffering. By trying to master the pain, they establish their self-control. Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts.
Ох ты, ё-моё.
She had the Sigillum de Ameth tattooed on her, the symbol of the living God, written in the language of angels, according to believers. It is rare for someone to know about symbols like this at her age, unless her mother was a tutor. Symbol of Masons? What's that doing here?
А перевести, к сожалению, не могу.
Count no fewer than 9 wounds on the thorax with a lot of blood. At first sight, I'd say that's what caused her death. The wounds are clean and look like they've been inflicted by a sharp object. Some of the lacerations have damaged vital organs, the heart, the right lung, which is perforated. Most of them weren't given with much force. She might even have survived. But the stab in the heart, though not all that deep, sealed her fate.
Так. Рассмотрим раны.
It looks as though the wounds were inflicted from a precise angle, as if the murderer was standing behind Elizabeth. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood. The scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body. No wounds, but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol. This pinnacle is a trap. The wearers of the pinnacle thought that they were protected from evil by surrounding it inside the different circles of the pinnacle.
Все, короче, у нас вообще нифига не осталось.
Doesn't look like she was tied up or held by force.
Что за выжатый лимон? Ловкость +1. Ну и нормально. Так, сейчас прокачаемся. Так, все, да? Все изучено. Так. Опачки, нет, не все, оказывается. Что за брызг такой?
Indicates that the murder must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that.
Так, на этот раз точно все. Еще внимательно, как говорится, осмотримся. Кстати, веревка тоже сделана в виде пентаграммы.
Has Sir finished?
I
with
know
this
enough
room?
now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
Так, мне надо где-то мед найти, мать его.
President George Washington.
Так, чё, к Вашингтону пойдем? Ну да, чтобы не бегать. Этот мед сейчас съедим, весь, который есть. Фига делать-то? Вон он и сам Вашингтон. Есть у тебя мед, друг? Опс. Журнал инспекторов мы получили. Что такое журнал инспекторов? Допрос. Нормально. О. Достать. Нет места. Твою ж мать. Просто так потратил.
A map of Vermont.
Чё, карта, чё?
Vermont.
А, Вермонт. А что такое? Время показывает слабость и устойчивость противников. Твою мать. Так, пока он там в окно смотрит. Я у него пошра ёблюсь. О,
The remedy of the gods.
медок. Медок, это хорошо. Так, что-то тут.
Portrait of George Washington. Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Камерилийская вода. Ну, какой-нибудь дорогой, если надо будет ее пить. Чё у тебя, даже монетка не валяется никакая, что ли? Да, грустно у тебя тут все грустно.
It looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals.
Политика недоступна. Зашибись.
My dear George, I'd like to invite you.
Дорогой Джордж, рад вновь пригласить вас на свой остров. У меня появилась одна задумка. Соединенные Штаты заслужат лучшую роль на международной арене. Я понимаю, вы не хотите играть с огнем, пока ваша страна так молода. Но смею вас заверить, мои планы никак не угрожают тому, чего нам с вами удалось достичь. С нетерпением жду встреч. Ваш друг, Уильям. Отлично, Уильям. Так.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
Так. Бдительность, этикет, да? Бдительность, этикет. Где он у нас? Неизвестные его черты. Значит, мы хаваем троечку. Вы видите, к чему устойчив и слаб. Ну, и чё? Где он есть там, блин? Вот он. Нет. Давай спросим.
Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
Were you aware that Elizabeth took laudanum?
Yes, she came to ask me for some. She had finished her reserve, I believe.
Did she tell you why she was so desperate to get some, Mr. President?
She said she had terrible migraines that wouldn't go away.
More likely for the voices she heard, and not the migraines. Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Mr. President, we found a footprint at the scene of the crime.
Not a dress shoe, I hope. That's all I wear.
No, rest assured. It looks like the print of a big ankle boot. A large size, I'd say.
Perfect. That should help you, Louis. It's a clue.
Алло.
Greetings, Louis.
Продолжим допрос.
Do you know if she had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Peru, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt, I wouldn't leave any door unopened, and I'd go and question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not surprised Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed.
Понятно. Блин, ну вот это может... Не думаю, что мне это что-то даст.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Так, нам еще политику надо, чтобы вот здесь почитать. Так, ладно, все, выметаемся. Демагог. Неудачные противостояния. Не, неудачные нам не надо. 5 манускриптов. Так, ладно. Мы погнали дальше. Опс. Куда пришли? Ага, мы пришли туда, где ничего не открывается. Так, а это у нас кто здесь?
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal
Кардинал.
Piaggi.
О. А, кардинала же мы исключили, точно. Опа, опа. А вот как вот ее увидишь?
A pound.
Кроме как случайно. Эй.
Huh, that's me.
Так, а я в своей комнате тоже. Да я не могу в свою комнату попасть. В чем приколюха?
Duke Manuel Godoy.
О. Это же нельзя. Что это такое-то? Кто говорит, тебе полный карт-бланш тебе, Луи. И вот, на тебе.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Эмили. Давай к Эмили зайдем.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice.
Grammar of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language and all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least...
Грамматика Порт-Рояля. Языкознание плюс очко. Я очень рассчитываю, что сейчас нам будут давать еще возможность по 3 штучки читать после каждого уровня. Откровенно говоря, не понимаю, зачем нам столько очков, если у нас нету меда. Хотя меда было много. Здравствуй. Спасибо за последнее письмо. К сожалению, корона предупредила Золотой Орден, что мы ни в коем случае не должны помешать сэру Грегори. Им явно удалось заручиться поддержкой Букемского дворца. Нас связали по рукам и ногам и лишили всякого свободы действия. Держи меня в курсе дела, выполнить задание будет непросто. С любовью, Судя по всему, французский орден не знает о поездке нашей знакомой Сары. Посему ничего не могу тебе рассказать. Впрочем, как мне кажется, она появилась сюда по личному делу. Ну, понятно. Сара, по личному делу.
The Lady's Waldegrave by Reynolds, painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family, in an effort to find them a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting.
Золотой эликсир. Ну, сейчас мы найдем место для него. У нас как раз там смятение или что-то того. После употребления всякой фигни.
The present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers. Madam, thank you for
Мадам, благодарю вас за заботу о королеве. Королю с каждым днем становится хуже, но я полагаю, припадок скоро пройдет. Не могли бы вы при встрече попросить Ее Величество обсудить с супругом мое ходатайство о повышении налогов? Я делаю все возможное, чтобы спасти страну от разрухи. Но, к сожалению, из-за душевного недуга короля действовать быстро не получается. Заранее благодарю за помощь. Нихера себе. Премьер-министр просит тетку какую-то, чтобы она потрахтела с этой 19 монет уже. С королевой. Да взломать, конечно, за бесплатно. Ничего не взламывает. Опачки, письмецо в конверте. Уважаемый Грегори, благодарю вас за информацию. Мне удалось немного разузнать об этих людях. Джорджу Вашингтону можно доверять. Несмотря на политические успехи, он остался честным человеком. С другой стороны, как вам известно, он уже ведет дела с лордом Мортимером. Получить его доверие будет сложно. О Наполеоне Бонапарте я сегодняшнего дня ничего не слышала. Это пылкий молодой офицер французской армии, которому Мортимер пророчит великое будущее. Будьте осторожны. Он человек твердых убеждений, а потому, на мой взгляд, опасный противник. Что касается Сары де Реше, мне нечего сказать, вы уже знакомы. Судя по всему, лорд Мортимер пригласил ее из-за парижской шумихи вокруг заказчика того ограбления. До скорой встречи. Так, блин, мне мед нужен, а не вода. 15-летней давности. Мадам, никогда не устану благодарить вас за правильную заботу и внимание. Я вас в долгу до конца своих дней. Просите чего угодно, я все сделаю. Что касается моего сына Уильяма, я безмерно благодарен вам за помощь. Вы знаете его предпочтения, и скоро сами поймете, что он в вас нуждается. Как мы и договаривались с королевой Шарлоттой, наш друг герцог Хиллсброу выполнит свое поручение и встретится с вами в течение полугода. После этого вы будете позабудете, что такое нужда. Понятно. Какая-то прямо она скандалистка. Какие-то, блядь, ну мне не нужны эти корцы были за одну эту. О мой бог. Я уже тут готов вообще везде залазить. Давай потрахтим, подруга.
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times. No doubt she suffered greatly.
9 times? What monster is capable of such a horrible thing? Do you know what happened exactly?
Нет, покажи ноги.
Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Уклонение.
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry, Louis.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You know, I'm sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
We found the murder weapon.
What is it?
A dagger, quite slim.
Have you found its owner?
Not yet. Still searching as it happens. That said, since the blade penetrated the body several times, the murderer's hand will have been covered in blood.
You think that's a clue?
The handprint was a very slender hand, Emily. Probably that of a woman.
Do you realize what that means? There are only 3 of us on the island. Bearing in mind that neither my sister nor myself had any reason to set upon the young lady, that means...
I know, Emily. I know.
Keep up your courage, Louis. I'm sure there's an explanation. You're bound to shed some light on it all.
If what you say is true, Emily, I'm less and less enthusiastic about shedding any light on the subject. I'm now interviewing all the guests to establish the alibis for each person. Just so that I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you were doing?
Почему ты не была в моем номере?
Am I given to understand that I'm on the list of suspects?
Don't take it the wrong way, but I must consider every possibility.
Well, if you absolutely wanted to be sure of my activities that evening, you only had to join me, you know.
I know, Emily. Especially since I couldn't prevent the murder, even though I spent part of the evening with Elizabeth.
You're sure it's not too hard to bear for you?
The fact is, I don't have a choice. But I will find the murderer. I owe Elizabeth that, at least.
О боже. О боже. Короче, закончить здесь ничего интересного не будет. Последние 3 я не буду тратить. Хотя... Блин, да там еще же появится херова гора. Так, или что у меня там? Вода есть. Поэтому... Спросим. Что значит обсудить?
Did you notice anything strange about Elizabeth?
Да, она, блядь, вся странная была.
You saw that for yourself.
I know. You're right. I'm looking for leads to try to reduce the number of suspects.
Well, I would say that in addition to ourselves, you could also cross off President Washington. I went to see him during the night. I had some business with him, and I can confirm that he didn't leave his room all night.
That gives Washington an alibi.
Чё ж она там до утра-то делала? Ну нет, это помогло на самом
I
деле.
won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Старика развлекала? Ух, она. Какая. Так. Вниз мне нельзя, да? И... О! Монета появилась. 20-я. Или она здесь и была, я просто ее не видел в прошлый раз. Так, кто там? О, месье Наполеон Бонапарт. Так, а у Наполеона же мы шарились, нет? По-моему, шарились. Да-да-да, шарились, я это точно помню. Ну, может, у него есть медок? Не, нету медка, походу. Оп.
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Сразу видно солдата. Да, это мы читали. Так, Поля. А, Поля. Про сына тоже читали. А вот эту не помню. Не, она сейчас, кстати, не нужна. Королевская вода. Так, здорово.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Someone saw you not far from the
Откуда у тебя здесь дела? Все.
Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Да, конечно.
Him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already. As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling. Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you.
Damn.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Опа, с кем вы
Can you
играли?
tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Короче, все.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you. Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all. Except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
Понятно.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight. So I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up
Я,
to
говорит,
bed,
всю ночь играл.
did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No.
Угу.
Well,
Всё.
have we finished, monsieur?
Да.
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Так. Вон он, бочонок с медом.
Honey. I
Да.
couldn't have hoped for better.
Одну потратили, чтобы получить две. Вообще зачет. Сука. Ловкость хоть прокачивает. Да тут все надо прокачивать. Чисто в теории. Еще понять бы, откуда я шел. По-моему, я вот отсюда шел.
Duchess Emily
Да.
Hillsborough.
Ну вот, а я жаловался, что баночек меда много. А оказалось очень даже мало. Так, теперь буду бегать до упора. Как с тем креслом, а то получится. Так, ну слушайте. Я уже, блядь, везде побывал. И вернулся обратно. В чем прикол?
Monsieur Johann van Vulne.
А, у него-то я тогда к нему не смог же зайти, пока его не встретил. Поэтому у него может быть медок. Монета вот точно у него есть. Сестерций. Опачки, интересно-то как.
The signs of obscurantism.
Так, еще надо не забывать, что в 3.50, по-моему, было. Хортус Деликартикус. А, Деликариум. Эрудиция. Так. О, медок, медок. Вот это грейт. Реально прям грейт.
The Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever obedient servant.
Короче,
So, Volner had a relationship
была у
with
них
Elizabeth,
любовь.
but that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
Да уж, да уж. Попался на. Ну, блять, конечно, надо смотреть. Нахуй он не нужен был. Потому что под него, блять, нет места. А, сука.
A table of alchemical symbols. Someone circled the zinc symbol.
Так, знак цинка введен.
The alchemist is a young man.
Нифига себе юность, блять, Бороданов. Опа, опа. Чё там такое? Ну, блять, непонятно.
Carmelite water. You say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Я столько уже потратил меда на вот эту херню, на всякую.
A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
If I'm not mistaken, Paracelsus named the element called zinc.
В натуре. Зря бутылку тратил. Театралиум Chemical. Где-то он, наверное, вот здесь, да? Да. Оккультизм. Плюс 1 очко будет. Ой, бля.
Golden elixir.
На, нет места, да? Блин. Слушайте, а что это такое-то у меня? Ладно, хрен с ним, пусть болтается.
Amber crystals.
О,
Alchemist is an old man.
алхимик в юности был, алхимик в старости. Такая же, блядь, борода. Опа. На. Якорцы, нахер мне не нужны ваши якорцы, меду дайте. Сколько она еще пикать будет? Коллекционные монеты. Тьма тьмущая уже. Их, наверное, сотню надо собрать.
What can I do for you, Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Did you see how many tattoos Miss Adams had on her?
Of course. Who wouldn't have noticed?
Yes, but I'm sure that an expert like yourself...
О, новое звание, министр. Что за звание? Не то что-то. А, все навыки до 1 уровня. 3 навыка не развиты до 1 уровня. Ё-моё. А, вот он, министр наук, плюс 1 очко. Нормально.
have an opinion on the subject.
I do. She was seeking to imprison something inside her. Her own body had become a sort of...
О, мне очко вернули.
She wanted to protect herself. Is that what you're saying?
Elizabeth was a flame. A candle in the night. And like all candles in the night, she was surrounded by darkness, by her demons. Call it what you will. One thing is for sure. She struggled against hell and high water not to let her flame go out.
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly.
Так, у нас нет потери кадров-то? Не, вроде нету. Хорошо.
Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now.
Вы расстались, какие отношения? Так, он уклонение, да? Так, помимо всего прочего. Уклонение, устойчивость к оккультизму. То есть оккультизм мы всяко не применяем, правильно? Так, оккультизм у нас что входит? Наука, хитрость, эрудиция, оккультизм, манипулирование.
Exactly
Давайте
how
допрос.
long had you been seeing her?
and I have no reason to answer you.
I see. Is that what you want me to tell Lord Mortimer when he asks what I found out?
It's only been a few weeks.
Угу.
I get the impression that your romance was over. Am I right?
So? What does it matter to you? I would never have attacked her, if that's what you're insinuating.
Who put an end to the relationship? You or her?
It was her. It was her. But what does that matter? We both agreed.
Да уж. Но у него здесь стабильность.
You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what? Yes. I loved her, like a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Короче, ничего это вообще не повлияло, да? Да, давайте это спросим.
Tell me a little more about the nature of your relationship.
That is a personal matter, monsieur.
Yes, that is true. So, tell me.
All right. It was passion. That's why we couldn't stay together. It scared her.
We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
Да. Короче, нам это ничего не дало, кроме того, что мы всахатили целую гору меда. Так, и чё, и куда мне? Ниже меня не пускают, правильно же понимаю? Правильно. Здесь я везде был. Так, это чё? А, это вот как раз таки и есть ее комната. Правильно я понимаю? Да. Короче, в 3 часа, 3:54 утра почти. Ее шлепнули.
President George Washington.
Вашингтона мы допрашивали. Так, где подъем наверх-то?
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Кардиналу все еще нельзя заходить.
Huh, that's me.
К себе тоже нельзя. Соответственно, мне, значит, надо наверх.
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Я не знаю, кто такой Годой вообще.
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Да чё я кругами-то бегаю? Наполеон. Я же, блядь, выучил. О, а как я его прошел? Самое интересное, что у меня не осталось абсолютно этих.
What do you want from me, de Richet?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
Для начала я хочу обыскать комнату. Чтобы...
The Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. A pattern with 4 circles.
Где интересно ключ брать? То есть все взламываю. Сколько тут всего. Еще и письма какие-то. Хоп-хоп такой. Месье Перю, позвольте поблагодарить вас за щедрое пожертвование. Благодаря вам мы наконец-то отремонтируем западное крыло приюта. У ребят, которых вы нам передали, все хорошо. Малютка Пир снова будет ходить. Некоторым деткам все еще снится, как родители стоят на эшафоте. Но я уверен, что со временем кошмары пропадут. На случай, если вы пришлете нам еще детей, мы скоро докупим 20 кроваток. Мы с воспитанниками сердечно вас благодарны. Да здравствует республика, да здравствует Франция. Так он не такой херовый оказался. Так. И чё? Чё, Нина? Я думал, там эти размышления будут. Ух ты. Избиение младенцев. Жесть. Так. Мне нужен медок срочно. Отлично, мед. Так, ну это мы сейчас с ним еще будем тарахтеть. Так. Что-то он сжигал тут. Не знаю, встретимся ли мы снова. Я попал в ловушку собственных решений. Тебя нужно защитить. Без тебя у меня нет будущего. Твою жизнь еще можно спасти. Уже не важно, сердишься ли ты на меня. Просто знай, что я заключил сделку с дьяволом, которого надеялся обыграть. Я думал, что знаю все про этих чудовищ. На мой подвиг во имя Франции. Ничто по сравнению с тем, на что способны они. Выхода нет. Их челюсти скоро сомкнутся. Люблю тебя и всегда буду любить. Интересно, кому он написал? Нет тут монеток. Нет. Так, а тут ничего нет. Подожди. Нет? Блин. Опа. Наверху осколок. Но я не буду тратить на этот осколок, блин.
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris.
О, про допрос, походу.
And there's some well-known names on it. This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
О, Жак Перю. Психология слабый. Так. Надо запомнить, что здесь этот лежит. Кусок. Опа. Что это? Нет места. Так, вот это же двойка, да? Да. А то у нас отрицательный эффект есть. Поэтому мы возьмем. Что-то у него одно избиение младенца здесь лежит. Ух, какой у него мачете. Или что это? Это ложечка для обуви. Дорогой друг, прошу вас посетить мой особняк, чтобы обсудить происходящее в Париже. В Кале вас будет ждать лодка, которая доставит вас в английский порт Дувр. Оттуда экипаж довезет до здания Тейджа, где пришвартован мой фрегат. На нем вы и остальные гости доплывете до моего острова. Жду вашего прибытия. Да. Ну да, нам вот как раз сейчас вот эти два штуки, и надо, чтобы с ним пообщаться.
Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Так. Ну, сразу у него. Допрос. Манипулирование. Психология.
I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting.
Ты чё, охерел, что ли?
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. I know you were at the scene. We will save a lot of time if you just tell me what happened.
You know nothing at all.
Enlighten me then. For now, I have your footprint in a pool of blood.
That's right. The only thing you can prove is one of my boots was at the scene. Congratulations, you've wrapped up the investigation.
Да, у него как-то нам все в крови, нет? Алло, ты чё так со мной базаришь-то?
Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Так.
Let's get right to it. Are you Elizabeth Adams' murderer?
That is for you to prove, if I'm not mistaken.
Я столкнулся с устойчивостью. Ну, я так и думал, в принципе, что это будет устойчивость.
You weren't expecting me to do all the legwork for you, were you? Lazy man.
Но у нас остается только вот это вот заюзать.
2 days ago, I surprised you having a go at Miss Adams.
What happened? Did you want to give her another beating? She wouldn't let you push her around again, huh?
Shut up, you little shit! You have no idea what happened, and here you are, carping away. You think you're investigator of the year. Have you taken a look at yourself, Deriche?
Didn't you get enough beating her black and blue the last time?
I did not!
Подловить. Так. А, у меня логика-то недоступна, твою мать.
Finish what you came to do, then get out of my room.
You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
Вообще косячу.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself.
Ну все, значит.
Goodbye, sir. We shall meet again.
Probably.
Короче, я накосячил. Причем знатно накосячил. Так, где, блядь, подъем наверх-то? Вот он. Ну, я вроде вообще всех допросил. О! Медок.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I don't have any evidence conclusive enough to allow me to name the culprit.
Проницательно, нифига себе, бдительность плюс 1 очко. Ой, вообще крутое какой. Вот это, да, бдительность? Да.
Really? I see. Well, that's your decision, Louis, and I accept it. Given the distinguished guests and the sensitive political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
Ёпта, я нахрена я все это делал?
She seems to be making every effort to steer clear of your guests.
What do you mean?
For the past few weeks, my mother's been playing cat and mouse, if you will. I don't know why, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that she's trying to avoid someone. The question is, who?
And in your opinion, would she be the cat or the mouse?
Mouse. Да вот я вот хер его знает. Раз она прячется, наверное, она мышь. С другой стороны, она убила это. Не будем же про
like to answer the cat, but unfortunately, I'm increasingly worried that she's in fact the mouse.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities and yours in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first.
Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me.
Так, что меня удивляет?
Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
Какого она искала покупателя? Покупателя этот ей предоставляет, наверное.
If only my mother had trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Я так думаю, что она избегает
Her
встречи с
not
кем-то.
coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Wollner, and myself.
Грегори, наверное. Раз он видел, что она убила герцогиню. А следом приехала вторая герцогиня.
It seems you're close friends. What can you tell me about Sir Gregory?
Но мы будем основываться на основании видения.
One of those cantankerous old men who hates losing at chess. Is a little eccentric and rather conservative. I'm sure you've met the type.
Well, actually, I don't judge people on how they look.
And you do well not to. What with his manner of continuing to wear makeup as he does, Gregory often gives off an unhealthy image. The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
Так, ну вот. Сосредоточенность
yes.
есть.
His famous cotton gin. It was supposed to revolutionize cotton production in the United States.
It will revolutionize the world, Louis. The potential of this invention is much greater. Tomorrow, all industries will be switching to simple but large-scale production. Of that, I'm sure.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Mother lulled my childhood with tales of the Crusades. How Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus had to battle it out to achieve their ends. And how Guy de Lusignan, having broken his word, launched the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Oh, I see Sarah's lessons have inspired new enthusiasts. Good on you, because not everyone can claim they know as much at your age. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since you disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Офигеть, сколько тут диалогов, а?
The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
Так. Так, нам нужно вниз. Ближайший вниз вот здесь, по-моему. Чё у меня там за 1х-то, я понять не могу. Метка нету у меня. Так. Он сказал, кладовая этажом ниже. Чего не могу спуститься?
Duke Manuel Godoy.
Что, нельзя к тебе? Нет, нельзя. Годою нельзя. Даже в свою комнату нельзя. Бля. Где кладовая-то? Ну, сейчас я. своей уже комнате подойду.
President George Washington.
А, нет, свою я уже прошел. Да ёптать, я вообще здесь блужу и блужу. Этажом ниже. Ну, это вот мы спустились вон на 3-м этаже. А мы сейчас спустились на 2-й, верно же? Верно.
Monsieur Johann von Wulner.
Да, Вёльнер, вот он. О! Нашли. Монета. Так. Медочек.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Вообще загадки, конечно.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Так. Вот это я пока не буду брать.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. A fierce opponent of the first Christians, St. Paul is suddenly struck by the call of Jesus Christ and converts. It's the best known conversion in Christian history, which teaches us that even enemies of Christ can be saved, and even become his greatest apostles after finding faith. From what I can recall, the account of his conversion could be found in the epistles to the Galatians, the Philippians, the Corinthians, and the Acts of the Apostles.
Пишет, что найти более безопасный способ общаться. Кто-то напал на наш след. Положитесь на мою веру в мечника. Да, вот.
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Так, пока я не понимаю, о чем здесь речь идет.
What is this disc?
Но диск мы возьмем.
Oh, that reminds me of the ones my mother collects. It's magnetic.
Взять, конечно. Диск нам пригодится. Вера в мечника. Так, ладно, вот это куда ведет? Никуда.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
Да, я могу взломать замок за 0. Благо взлом есть. Японский самурай. Так, ура, мед.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust. As if the painting's been cleaned recently.
А что там написано?
There's a small inscription engraved on the frame.
Положись на мою
Let's take
веру
a
в
closer
мечника.
look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Подумать
So we
ходим.
have the figure 11 twice underlined and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with a figure, maybe?
Логики вот нету.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust.
Ну мы ее уже изучили, то бишь.
Cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his.
Почему я не могу пропустить это?
Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Так, отходим. Коли у нас логики нету.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Так. Взломаем его замка. Вы получили золотой эликсир. Нет места для золотого эликсира.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Эта картина мне никак не поможет.
The New Testament.
Новый Завет.
This volume dates from the first edition of Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. The pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible.
Да.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Соферсита. Что такое соферсита? Уклонение. Так.
A fragment of amber.
Рассмотреть картину. Угу. Так. Он смотрит как раз таки он туда. Так, так, так.
St. John, painted by Guido Reni. St. John is known as the youngest of Christ's apostles. Well, we often give credit to St. John for having written about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible.
Короче, нифига мне это не помогло, откровенно говоря. Мне только может помочь вот здесь.
Paul, painted by Guido Reni.
помнить, что он не евангелист.
The four apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He
Он
is the 13th apostle.
Угу. Да, жалко, что логику среди 4 Павел не евангелист, он 13-й апостол. Ё-моё. О, вот он.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say?
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply. Hidden behind the youngest apostle.
What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
Ну, сам молодой ученик-то. О, вот эту, кстати.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Ничего, заглянуть-то нельзя. Все, да? Так, значит, вот за это.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. What was it my mother said? That she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle. Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting.
Ну,
On the
наконец-то.
second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
1 слева и 3 справа.
St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. On the second day, the pilgrims listened to the prophecy of the young apostle. The prophecy of the young apostle. That was John. And the prophecy mentioned is most likely the book of Revelations according to St. John. It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Так, теперь нам опять к Библии. Прочти сборное послание и откровение Иоанна Богослова. Второй и 3. Послание. 1 слева и 3 справа. 1, 3, по идее. Нифига.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Так, еще раз. Тут тоже кто-то снят.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
О. Полная. Раз, два, три. Ну. Так, мечник нас уже провел. Мать его. Подумайте о коде еще раз.
On the second day, the pilgrims listened to the
Пророчество
prophecy of the young
молодого
apostle. The
пророчества.
prophecy of the young apostle. That was John.
Откровение
And the prophecy
Иоанна
mentioned
Богослова,
is
да.
most likely the book of Revelations according to Saint John.
Откровение Иоанна Богослова. Откровение. Откровение. Да. Ну здесь
Saying
нет.
with a loud voice, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing."
Угу. И чё? Не помогло, да?
And a voice came out of the throne, saying, "Praise our God, all ye his servants, and ye that fear him, both small and great."
Нет.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine."
Так, пока не помогает.
And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note. It's been folded carefully in the corner of this page. The writing, it's not my mother's. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that mean?
Боже.
It's probably the place where she was expected to get the
Глаз с
location of
ангелом.
the next.
Где-то я это уже слышал. О, вот он, глаз с ангелом.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
Половина каждого первого пойдет. Ага. Так.
Group of pilgrims. If I'm not mistaken,
Их было
numbered
12
respectively
и
12 and
14.
14 in the last painting. With the simple operation suggested, that would mean that
Получаем
the
новую
new
группу
groups
по
are 6 and
6 и
7.
7 человек. Так. Где-то там... Угу. 6, 7. Так. Коринфянам. Вот.
Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather suffer injustice? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Ah, look, here's a message.
Да ладно,
It is of
блин.
paramount importance that no one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian.
Уже книгу
He's on the
перевернул и
trail.
все бы вытащил.
Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them. And that first group of pilgrims, how many are there now? If I refer to the chapter I'm reading at the moment, 6.
И чё дальше? К Марку. Марк 6. 6 нет. 14, 20.
Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
Так, нет. Так, нам однозначно марку надо. За первой группой к марку. В первой группе было 11 или 6. Или 14.
And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, eat. This is my body."
Короче, я нифига не могу угадать.
And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet.
Да ёпта.
And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in Jordan.
Нет. Так, еще раз. Первой группой к марку, который даст долгожданный ответ. Первой группой. Не
There's
изучим
nothing worth
раму.
noticing here.
Первой группой.
It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Ладно.
No, nothing of value here. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all.
Печатки в пыли. Их 8.
Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Перевести не могу
Choosing the
опять.
Hebrew alphabet is no coincidence. It's got to be a reference to the Bible.
Так, 8. И иврит. 8 и иврит. Первое. Так. 6-8 должно быть. Нет. А может первая и восьмерка?
But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than
Я
that which
запутался
we have
уже.
preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Нет. Два, вот он, 6-8, да.
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message. There are some
О, господи, как
complications.
сложно.
Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's see tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims
К левой
that
группе
have joined
присоединятся
him.
новые паломники.
Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
Теперь точно
Several
сюда.
portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Нет. Ничего нельзя сделать. Блин. Не это
Saint
новые
Paul on the
паломники.
Road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Изучить раму.
A lot of dust has built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
Так, 4.
St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come? Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Так. О, если честно, я умотался уже с этими картинами. Так. Прочесть первое послание. 4.2, либо 2.4 ищем, правильно? Скорее всего, 2.4. Угу. Ни хера непонятно. Послание по... 2.2. 2.2 опять. Блин, я уже все пролазил. Ни 2.4, ни 4.2 нету. Это однозначно Павла, да? Правильно же? Когда апостол Павел понял, что стоит след влияния, он вернулся назад. Ну вот я вернулся назад. Буду ждать ваш ответ после того, как к левой группе присоединятся новые паломники. К левой. Так, левая, это какая была? 6. Так. Ладно, мне надо читать все, которые есть 4. Нет. К левой группе. В левой было 6 или 12. И там 4 потом. Зачем он тогда сказал про 2 этих? Но это первая группа. Блять. Так, 4 мы вообще нигде не вижу, да? 4.8 вообще не канает.
In him, God has chosen us before the foundation of the world, that we may be holy and blameless before him.
Нет. Давай 14, 1, 6, 2, первую 4. Ну вот я первую 4 прочитал. Буду ждать вашего ответа после того, как к левой группе присоединятся новые паломники. Вот это у меня вот непонятно.
I guess I'll just come back later.
К левой. Может, к первой? Первая группа была 12 паломников.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
4. Первая группа 12 или 6. Это вот запутался у них в ритме. Тут точно 4. И подумать, почему он единственный из апостолов, кто изображен дважды. К первой группе. Нам однозначно нужно искать четверку же, правильно?
Because we look not
Давайте
at the
так.
things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Так, к левой группе, блядь. Я запутался. Потому что вот 12 и 14 было. Стих 7. Первое послание к Коринфянам. Буду ждать вашего ответа после того, как к левой группе. Почему левой? Блять, я, откровенно говоря, у меня сейчас выезжает. Угу. Еще раз. Две картины. То есть... Так, здесь еще раз.
Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
Угу. Здесь все правильно. 4. Два, 4. 12, 6. Я уже просто заблудился. Почему левая группа? Это левая группа?
There's something else behind this painting. It says half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
Так, это здесь ни при чем. Еще раз. Считаются лишь деяния. Он вернулся назад. Там у меня 2 и 4. То есть 2 картины нарисовано и 4 на ней написано. Но я 2-4 везде искал. А главное, я не понимаю, какую эту. К первой группе Как левой группе, блядь, чё мне это первая, а? Так. Послание к римлянам. 11:11 было. А если в 13:15? Будет такое? 13:15. Один 15. Так, 13:15 нету. Поехали дальше. Это мы 11:11. Дальше 12:14 у нас было. Это откровение богослова. Ага, вот. Первая часть посланий 6:7. 8:11. 8:11. У меня нигде не было. 8:11. Так. Не, бля, все, я сдаюсь. Угу. Десять 8. Евангелие, Деяния святых апостолов. А как вообще 8 оказалось? Просто я не куриваю.
He fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here. A message from Mother in reply to Eve.
Ёб твою мать, ты вытяжи всю Библию.
But first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that?
За ночь. Наверное, это насказание.
I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Не, ну с картинами меня, конечно, утомило. Какая нахрен еще записка из Библии? Похрен, ну, короче. Что за ночной кошмар? Не, ну это вообще ад. О, я не понял послание матушки. Херово, что я не понял послание матушки, но. Так. Что у нас? 4 очка. Политику бы изучить с языкознанием. Логика тоже нужна. Но языкознание такое себе, как бы. Давайте логику изучим. Так. Ну все, мы практически все открыли. За исключением языкознания. И потом только будем улучшать. Так, что-то мне там дали. Выполнить задание 5. Трагическая судьба. Так, вот теперь мы можем навыки посмотреть. Нам 2 языкознания надо. Допрос, наука, оккультизм. Так, раз. Эрудиция, уклонение, убеждение, политика, допрос, эрудиция, допрос. Сука. Допросов до хера. Даже логика где-то тут, по-моему, была. Уклонение, политика. Так. Ловкость. А что нам еще надо-то? Эрудицию можно прокачать. Да, это, наверное, будет лучше всего эрудицию прокачать. Эрудиция, наука, оккультизм, манипулирование. И вот она, еще одна эрудиция. Да. И у нас уже будет, по крайней мере, одна полностью прокачанная. Новое звание ученик. Прочитать 5 манускриптов. Это я уже больше, мне кажется, прочитал. Так. Ну, думаю, я что-то вымотался. На данной ноте мы завершим эту серию. До встречи в следующем эфире. Спасибо всем за просмотр. Что, блядь, я устал, мозг сломал. Всем пока-пока.